I still can't believe what happened at my sister's wedding. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can hear the gasps, see the looks on people's faces, and feel that strange mix of humiliation and satisfaction that washed over me all at once. Tell me if you think I was wrong for how I handled it, because honestly, I still don't know if I went too far or if karma just finally decided to clock in for work. You see, my sister and I have always had a complicated relationship. She's the golden child, the one who could do no wrong in my parents' eyes, while I was always the quiet one, the one who worked hard but never quite got noticed. Growing up, she was the center of every room, the girl with the perfect hair, the perfect laugh, the perfect everything. And I was just her shadow, but I never resented her for it. Not at first. I loved her. I really did. I defended her when people called her selfish or manipulative because, to me, she was just confident, just misunderstood. I never imagined she'd be the one to humiliate me so publicly, and certainly not on her own wedding day. It all started months before the wedding when she announced her engagement to David. I'll admit, when I met him, I was surprised. He was calm, thoughtful, and genuinely kind. Everything my sister usually didn't go for. Her past boyfriends were flashy, loud, and mostly shallow. But David was different. He looked at her like she was made of glass, and he was afraid to break her. I remember thinking, wow, maybe this one's real. When they asked me to be a bridesmaid, I was touched. For a moment, I thought maybe this was our chance to finally reconnect, to be real sisters again. I even helped her plan things, from picking the floral arrangements to choosing her dress. I spent hours with her at fittings, giving opinions, holding her purse, doing whatever I could to make her happy. She thanked me, but there was always this edge in her tone, like gratitude didn't quite fit her mouth. Things started to turn sour during the bridal shower. She'd always had a habit of teasing me, but this time it felt different, meaner. She made jokes about how I was still single and too focused on work to ever find love. Everyone laughed, including David, though he looked uncomfortable. I laughed too, pretending it didn't sting, but inside, I felt something twist. I told myself it was just nerves, wedding stress. People get weird when they're planning big events. But then, a week before the wedding, I overheard something I was never supposed to hear. I'd gone to her place to drop off some last-minute decorations, and as I was about to knock, I heard her voice inside, laughing with one of her bridesmaids. She said, I only asked her to be a bridesmaid because Mom would kill me if I didn't. Can you imagine her trying to stand next to me in the photos? Poor thing. She looks like a background extra in her own life. They both laughed so hard I thought they'd choke. I froze. My heart sank, and for a moment, I couldn't breathe. It's one thing to be teased. It's another to be pitied, mocked behind your back by your own sister. I quietly set the decorations down outside her door and left without saying a word. I should have confronted her then. I should have said something. But I didn't. I told myself, it's her big day, don't ruin it. So I bottled it up. I showed up to the rehearsal dinner, smiled, played the role of the supportive sister, and pretended everything was fine. But the closer the wedding day came, the heavier that bottle got. Every fake laugh, every "I love you, sis," felt like another drop of acid burning through whatever trust was left between us. Still, I promised myself I wouldn't be the one to cause a scene. But I didn't need to, she made sure of that. The wedding was beautiful. I'll give her that. The venue was like something out of a movie. White roses, twinkling lights, a gentle breeze carrying the scent of fresh flowers. Guests mingled, champagne glasses clinking, cameras flashing. I tried to focus on the beauty, on being happy for her, even though part of me still ached. Everything was perfect until the reception. It started innocently enough, speeches, laughter, dancing. Then came the funny stories segment, an idea my sister came up with because she thought it would keep things light and entertaining. Each bridesmaid took turns sharing a funny memory about the bride. I was the last one to go. I had written something simple, heartfelt, about how proud I was of her and how much she'd grown. But before I could even walk to the microphone, she grabbed it first. I actually want to tell a story about my sister before she speaks, she said, her voice dripping with that performative charm she always used when she wanted to make herself the center of attention. The room quieted. So, she continued, when we were younger, my sister used to write these little letters to herself, like love letters, but from imaginary boyfriends. She'd hide them under her pillow so Mom wouldn't find them. It was the cutest thing. She'd even sign them with fake names like Josh or Ethan or whatever crush she had that week. Laughter erupted. People clapped. Some even whistled. My face went hot. I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. She kept going. And honestly, I think it's adorable that she still believes her Prince Charming is out there. Maybe he just got lost on the way or stopped for directions. Who knows? More laughter. Cameras were flashing, people were looking at me, and all I could do was smile weakly while every ounce of dignity drained out of me. I could see David sitting beside her, his expression shifting from polite amusement to discomfort. He tried to grab the mic back, but she waved him off with a laugh. Oh, come on. It's all in good fun. Good fun. That's what she called it. Humiliating me in front of hundreds of people. I don't remember much of what happened next, except that I couldn't hold back the tears anymore. I left the room, pretending to take a call, but really, I just needed to breathe. My heart was pounding, and I felt this overwhelming mix of anger and grief. I'd spent my whole life trying to be a good sister, and this was my reward. Being made into a punchline on her wedding day. I stood outside for a long time, staring at the lights strung across the garden, wondering if I should just leave. But then something unexpected happened. David came out to find me. He looked nervous, almost guilty. Hey, he said softly, I'm so sorry about what she said. That wasn't right. I shook my head, wiping my eyes. It's fine, I whispered, though it wasn't. No, it's not, he said firmly. You didn't deserve that. Something in his tone made me look up. He wasn't just being polite. He was angry, genuinely angry on my behalf. He hesitated before speaking again. Can I tell you something? I nodded, confused. He took a deep breath and said, You're not the only one she's been making fun of. She's been mocking me too. That caught me off guard. He went on to explain that ever since they got engaged, she'd been treating him like an accessory, a prop for her perfect wedding fantasy. She tells her friends that she settled for me because she was tired of waiting for someone better. My jaw dropped. I didn't know what to say. He laughed bitterly. I thought I could ignore it. I thought she'd change once we got married. But seeing her humiliate you like that, I can't ignore it anymore. At that moment, something shifted. I didn't know what David was planning, but I could tell he had something on his mind. He straightened his jacket, looked back toward the hall, and said, Come on. Let's go back in. I think it's time people saw who she really is. My stomach twisted in anticipation, but I followed him anyway. When we returned, everyone was still laughing, dancing, enjoying the night like nothing had happened. My sister was sitting at the head table, basking in attention. David walked up, took the microphone, and tapped it gently. The music stopped. The chatter quieted. He smiled, a cold, calm smile that made even my sister look uneasy. I'd like to make a toast, he said. Everyone turned to him, glasses raised. To my beautiful bride, he continued, the woman who has shown me so much about love, honesty, and humility. The crowd laughed, not realizing where he was going. My sister smiled proudly, clearly expecting another round of praise. But David wasn't smiling anymore. You know, he said, I was going to say something sweet, but after what I just witnessed, I think honesty is more appropriate. The room grew still. I just watched my wife publicly mock her own sister, someone who's done nothing but support her. and I realized something very important about the woman I married. My sister's smile faltered. "David, what are you doing?" She hissed under her breath, but he ignored her. She always told me her sister was jealous, insecure, needy. But tonight, I saw who's really insecure. Because only someone deeply unhappy with themselves needs to tear down others to feel powerful. Gasps rippled through the room. My sister's face turned pale. "Stop it," she whispered, but he kept going. "I thought I was marrying a partner, someone kind and compassionate. But if this is how she treats the people closest to her, then maybe I made a mistake." The crowd murmured, people shifting awkwardly in their seats. My parents looked horrified. My sister tried to stand up, but David calmly handed the mic to the DJ and said, "Excuse me." Then he turned, took off his ring, and set it on the table in front of her. "I'm sorry," he said quietly, "but I can't do this." You could have heard a pin drop. My sister sat frozen, her mouth open, her hands trembling. I stood there, speechless. It didn't feel real, like watching a movie play out in slow motion. David turned to me, gave a small nod, and walked out. Just like that, the guests started whispering, the music died completely, and the perfect wedding unraveled in front of everyone's eyes. My sister tried to save face, pretending it was all a joke, but no one was laughing anymore. The cameras that once captured smiles now caught the slow collapse of her carefully crafted image. And me. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. For once, she was the one standing in the spotlight, but not in the way she'd planned. So that's the situation I found myself in. A sister who humiliated me, and a groom who decided to humiliate her right back. But before I tell you what happened after that night, I want to know what you think. If you were in my shoes, would you have stopped him? Would you have tried to protect her, even after everything she'd done? Or would you have let karma run its course like I did? Think about it, and let me know what you'd do, because I'm still not sure if staying silent made me strong or just cruel. After that night, everything changed. My sister's marriage, obviously, was over before it even began. The next day, she tried calling David, but he refused to answer. Eventually, he sent a message through her friend, saying he needed space, and that he was reconsidering the entire relationship. The story spread fast. By the end of the week, half the town had heard about the wedding that ended before the honeymoon. My parents blamed me at first. They said I should have stepped in, that I should have stopped David before he embarrassed her. But I reminded them of what she'd done to me, how she'd mocked me in front of everyone, and how they'd laughed too, pretending it was harmless. They didn't have much to say after that. For weeks, my sister didn't speak to me. She locked herself away, refused visitors, and posted vague quotes about fake people and betrayal on social media. I didn't comment. I didn't defend myself. I just focused on my life. But one evening, she showed up at my apartment, eyes red and puffy, makeup smudged. "You must be so happy," she said bitterly. "You got what you wanted." I stared at her, confused. "What are you talking about?" She laughed, a hollow, broken sound. "You've always been jealous of me, and now you've finally won." That word, won, hit me like a slap. "This wasn't a competition," I said quietly. "You humiliated me, and I didn't do anything to you. David made his own choice." She didn't respond. She just stared at me for a long time, then said, "You'll never understand what it's like to be me." And then she left. I won't lie. Part of me felt guilty. No matter what she'd done, she was still my sister. Watching her break down wasn't satisfying. It was sad. But another part of me knew that this was the only way she'd ever learn that actions have consequences. Over time, she started to change. Slowly. She apologized months later, genuinely, and for the first time in our lives, it felt real. She said she realized that her constant need for validation came from insecurity, from always feeling like she had to be perfect to be loved. I forgave her. Not because she deserved it, but because I needed to move on. As for David, he eventually reached out to me. not romantically, but to thank me. He said that what happened opened his eyes and that he was better off knowing the truth before it was too late. Now, whenever I look back, I still hear that moment. The silence in the room after he placed the ring down, the weight of truth hanging in the air. It's strange how life works. The same night I thought would be my lowest turned out to be the one that set everything right. So tell me, was I wrong for staying silent and letting my sister face her own downfall? Or was that the justice she brought upon herself? Either way, I learned something that night. Sometimes the universe doesn't need your help delivering karma. It just waits for the right stage. And my sister's wedding was the perfect one. Like this video, if you think I was right to let things play out, subscribe for more stories like this, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to see how many of you would have done the same thing. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you all in the next story.